Everybody, maybe before I start, just to give you a bit of my background, who I am. My name is Colin Bletsky. I'm the COO for MustGrow Biologics Corp. I am based in Western Canada. My background is agriculture. I've been involved in the industry since I was a young child on a family farm, and I've gone through many different companies throughout my career in the past 30 years. In the chemical space, I was in the seed space. I was with Novozymes Bioag. So the Novozymes is a Danish organization leading their sustainable agriculture company for a number of years, and now with MustGrow. And to give you, I guess, maybe I'm going to share my presentation and to give you a bit of information on who MustGrow is and what we do. What we are is I would say, a fully integrated organization focusing on extracting natural compounds from natural mustard seed. The same mustard that we eat, the same things that nature's provided us is what we extract. And the last conversation I had with Lindsay, I kind of explained it this way. If you eat wasabi or you have horseradish and you feel the burn going into your nose and you feel your eyes watering, that is the same molecule we're taking, extracting it, concentrating it, and providing it to farmers around the world to grow a more sustainable, healthier, and robust crop. So once again, MustGrow Biologics Corp, we are on the TSXV as MGRO. We are on the Frankfurt Exchange as well as OCO. So who are we? Like I said, we are a fully integrated provider of natural regenerative products and solutions looking at sustainable farming. And if you think of it, I'm still a farmer. I farm in Eastern Saskatchewan in Canada. The number one thing we think about as farmers is growing a crop. So that's number one. Number two is protecting our soil and making sure that what we're using is having a benefit not only on providing and producing more food in a healthier way, but also sustaining our soil and essentially that earth for future generations. So when you look at the agricultural space, it is a very large marketplace. Right now, it is currently roughly a $380 billion US marketplace and growing. And this is the global fertilizer and pesticide market. Biologicals, these are living organisms, natural extracts like ours, and others are the fastest growing segment of that. And that's something where we are fully targeted in. As an organization, we do currently have revenues in Canada and part of the US as well. As of Q3 of last year, we were roughly 7.4 million Canadian. We have not released our Q4 and finally earnings yet. We do in Canada have our local distribution team called Nexus Bioag. In the US, we are registered and we are selling a product called Terasante, and I'll go through that in more detail right away. And we're also in the process of registering our product as well called Terra MG. And this is a natural biopesticide. The way we do things is different where we are in the world. In Europe, Africa, and Middle East, we work through commercial partnerships through Bayer Crop Science. So the number one leading crop protection company has licensed our technology for those areas and are investing a significant amount of capital to get our product to fruition through registrations in that area. In North America, we are also working on that our own with both EPA and PMRA. And in other parts of the world, whether it be South America into Asia, we are working with other partners and looking at ways to get into those markets. As an organization, we're quite small still. We have roughly 62 million shares outstanding. We have about a 45 million Canadian market cap, a very low capex model, which I'll go into. And something that may be a little bit unique is 20% of our organization is owned by management and insiders. Roughly 70% of our organization, we can count on two hands and know the people who are playing it. So a lot of key strategic investors for us, and they've been with us a long time. So for us, the reason and I guess the thesis and hypothesis of why we're in this industry and why we're so excited about it is really looking at sustainable agriculture and the future of food security. If you look at it globally, there is an increased regulation on synthetic chemicals and fertilizers. And, the European Union is leading the charge on this, and that's great to see. But if you look at the US marketplace right now, they're using over 72 different pesticides that are already currently banned or in process of being banned in other parts of the world. So if you think of maximizing yield, you think of soil health, which is so important, and all this comes back to that food security. If you think of the commitment to organic solutions and growth in sustainable agriculture, Bayer's in this, Syngenta Crop Protection, BASF, Many other organizations in the ag chem world are moving to more sustainable solutions. That's also compounded by European or regulations through other, I would say, government organizations to look at how do we change the way we do things. And as an industry, I've been in this industry, like I said, for 30 years. We need to change as an industry as a whole. We need to get better. We need to understand what we're doing and how we do things and how we do it in a better way. And then when you look at it, and I said this, it's a $380 billion marketplace and growing. It grows roughly just over 4% CAGR per year. The two largest areas of this, and when it comes down to it, is in the bio and sustainable areas. Biocontrol products are expected to grow up over 15% and be close to that 20 billion US dollar mark. And biofertility products, which we're heavily involved in, are right now and growing to about 6.3 billion and at about a 12% improvement. So if you look at this, it is a lot of opportunity for us in this growing agricultural market. So what do we do? Like I said, what we do is we take natural food grade mustard, the same mustard that's in your French's and your Dijon, anything that uses from mustard. We're able to extract two different compounds, a glucosinolate and different glucosinolates and an enzyme. When you put these together, you create a natural molecule. And these are the molecules that we're then formulating into different products. One goes into a product called Terrasante, which is a biofertility product. And really that technology is about providing the plant with good proteins, carbohydrates. It stimulates microbial activity in the soil. So if you think of this, it's almost like a probiotic for the soil. It helps improve the soil. It helps improve the root system of a plant, and therefore creating a more resilient root, a resilient plant that then can combat abiotic stress like diseases or nematodes. We're also working on a pre-registered biocontrol product, and this product is really about targeting the soil-borne disease market as well as the nematode market. Both of those in their own, nematodes will cause roughly 100 billion US dollars of damage annually to food. Disease is about the same. So when you look at our technology, it is about taking something that nature's provided us, taking something that's natural and organic, and putting it into a usable farm so farmers can use it in the same way that they do their normal systems, so they don't have to have a huge capital investment. And this year has been a transition year for us at MustGrow. We've gone from straight R&D to now commercialization. We're now commercialized, like I said, in the US, and we're selling our biofertility product into essentially the West Coast of California, into Oregon, Washington, and I'll go through it. But we have roughly about $100 million opportunity just in the US alone. We're now looking at other areas to expand that. Within Nexus BioEgg as well, we're selling other third-party products in our sustainable products, regenerative products into the Canadian market. And we're looking at taking that model and expanding it into other parts of the world as well. But this doesn't take away from our pre-registered and our technology base. Right now at MustGrow, we still have and continue to add patents. We have 110 patents and growing, whether they're pending or granted. TerraMG is one of these areas where we're targeting that biocontrol, so really going after head-to-head versus synthetic chemicals. And when we see this market opportunity in Canada alone, we're having some really good success on a key disease here in Canada. Each market offers a lot of opportunity. In Canada alone, it's roughly a $90 million opportunity. If we look at the global scale, the global market, we see this being upwards almost of $1 billion US opportunity, trying to go in and either replacing or complementing synthetic chemicals. And we're also always looking at new technologies from mustard. And this is something that we continually do is mustard, and nature's given us so much that we have and so much we can utilize. Taking this and looking at different technologies. So looking at post-harvest control and disease control. So this is helping potatoes and not sprout in storage compared to synthetic chemicals. Looking at uses for high-value feed applications with our technologies. Looking at different opportunities for SCN, which is a natural bioherbicide, so competing or complementing things like Roundup. And another product called HPA, which is something that has a unique property going into and helping reduce the need for synthetic chemicals on things like nematodes. And then also we have programs into the animal and human health. And I keep saying this, if you're not eating mustard, you should. It's a tremendous crop. It provides a lot for us as humans, and it provides a lot of opportunity for us in the marketplace. And we do this in a low CapEx situation. We don't have to put a lot of capital expenditure into a production facility or into other areas. Right now, we are currently working with two different key toll manufacturers, one in India, one in Thailand, able to produce and working through the product that we need. And we can do all these things in a very low capital intensive process. So when we look at the opportunity right near the near term, we see an opportunity to get to roughly about $10 million in sales through what we currently have. With the expansion projects that these companies are putting in to date, we see that ramping up and getting us to a significant amount of scale and a significant amount of opportunity and product for the future use. So getting into the products a little bit more. So TerraSante, what it is a registered biofertility product in the key states in the USA. This is specifically in California, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and Arizona. It's an organically certified product. So this can be used not only in organic hectares, acres, it could also be used into the conventional side of things. As I mentioned, this product is manufactured third party for us, and it's a very low capex model. So the way we take this and the revenue strategy in agriculture is really it's about working with the local farmers, the local large companies, and really do a lot of hand holding and education, working with them and then working with the distribution chain. So we've been doing a lot of work over the past number of years, working with some of the big companies like Dole, Driscoll, Cal Giant, TNA Produce. So we're working with those large, high-value fruit and vegetable companies. And what we've been seeing is a very quick and commercial scale ramp up, and that's happening right now. And I'll go through it a little bit more. But when we look at our customers and who we're dealing with Nutrien, who's a billion-dollar organization that's very good. We're dealing with integrated crop protection, different other retails to help deliver this technology. So we support the growers, we support the retail chain, and we do this all through scientific opportunity and with scientific education. And when we look at it, what we're targeting is high value crops. So fruits and vegetables, tree nut and vine, root and tuber, and potatoes. So the US market, I said, for us is about $100 million US market opportunity. This comes down to the fact that there's roughly 5.6 million acres of high value fruit and vegetables in the US market. Roughly just under 200,000 acres of those are organic. So 5.6 million acres is roughly just over 2 million hectares, a little bit more than 2 million hectares, about 2.2. So when we see this, it's a tremendous opportunity for us. There's multiple applications per year. So when we look at it, it keeps adding areas of opportunity and areas of sales for us. So we launched this product back in 2024, and we had 150 acres of commercial trials. And this is where a farmer, a grower, a large company needs to start small, understand it, feel the product, test it, work with it in their own soil zone, and then move forward. Last year, in 2025, we've been sold out since June. We sold over 1,000 acres of products. So put this in perspective, we're roughly about that $1 million US sales last year. We probably lost about 1.5 million by not having product. But as a small company, this to me was something that was a good problem to have. Our technology worked very quickly. It worked very well in the field, and companies came back and had repeat sales and increased sales. And for us, our main crops are strawberries, potatoes, leafy greens, and into tomatoes. And we've been seeing on average a 2-ton per acre increase in potato yields. So a lot more potatoes, but that's number one. The second key area was being able to provide that key soil benefit, the key benefit to the plant. We've seen close to a 35% increase in quality, which means there was a larger, more valuable potatoes for the farmer and less calls, less things that got thrown out. And for the farmer, that was extremely valuable in their ROI. When we look at the opportunity, like I said, we see roughly about $100 million opportunity. And to put that in perspective, that's 150,000 acres. As I mentioned, there's 5.6 million acres in the US to date. Large organizations like Dole's, Driscoll's, some of these organizations are well over 100,000 acres globally, whether it be that US and combined. So we're targeting a small amount of acres to get to that area. So even if you discount it on a discounted revenue for our company, it adds significant value to our share price. And this is something that we see the opportunity. This is the US. We're now expanding, moving this product into the Netherlands. We're looking at Brazil. We're doing work also in Australia. We're looking at Mexico, Chile, Peru. So when you look at the expansion and the global opportunity on high value crops, the global opportunity on removing and reducing the use of synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, we see a tremendous opportunity for our technology here. TerraMG, as I mentioned, is a soil biopesticide, and this is treating soil diseases and nematodes, which cause significant amount of loss. And the products that we are targeting are some of the ones that have the most toxicity when it comes to soil. Things like chlorpicrin, metam-sodium, the old methyl bromide. These are the soil sterilants. So these are like the chemotherapy for soil. They kill everything, the good and the bad, and they leave the soil very, I would say, not a very useful, not very healthy. What we do is we're able to target the same pests that those products are controlling, but we're not impacting the soil microbiome. We actually have a positive effect on the key soil beneficials and a key on the soil. So when we look at this, it has a tremendous opportunity. We're working through registrations right now with both in Canada and US, both with the PMRA and the EPA. So Pest Management Regulatory Agency in Canada and the Environmental Protection Agency in the US. We've been doing this for many years, and we're hopeful that over the next number of years, we will have that registration. In other parts of the world, we are partnering and looking for partners. We've already done this in Europe, Africa, and Middle East with Bayer, where they're investing upwards of 40 million US dollars to get that product registered. We're also continuing to test with other key companies in areas like LATAM, so Brazil, Mexico, Chile, Peru, getting to Colombia, Ecuador, and also into parts of Asia, Australia, looking at Thailand, some of the other key areas. And as Terra Sante, this is still produced through our third-party tollers. Where I get excited about this is, I said, I still farm in Saskatchewan, I still farm in Canada. We grow a lot of canola. So in Europe, it would be called oilseed rape. We have a disease here called clubroot that is impacting canola acres, and it's spreading. There's no chemical control. There's nothing that's really having an impact on the spread or reduction of spread of this disease. And we've been able to control it in field, upwards of 95% reduction in spoil-borne spores of clubroot. We've seen a yield increase for the technology, an increase in ROI for the farmer. So that was canola. When we look at potato as one of our other key crops, we've seen it again, a consistent 2 ton per acre increase and an increase in size, which is increasing that revenue per acre for a farmer. So like I said, we do this through a small and a really tight cap structure. We have roughly a fully diluted is about 77 million shares outstanding. There's some warrants, options. Like I said, our market cap, 20% of our organization is owned by insiders and advisors. And when we look at it, we do this with a very, we do this on a tight cap structure. And I should mention, we did do a capital raise roughly 2 months ago. That capital was then now being used. As I said, we were out of stock of Terra Sante. We're utilizing that capital to build up inventories to start really starting that cycle and high selling. And then as a management team, we do this very lean. We're an organization that really focuses on key individuals who have a lot of experience. Our CEO has been involved in the fertilizer space. He's been involved in the oil space. He's been involved with many different startups. Our CFO, same thing. He's been involved with many different companies, from different extraction companies all the way through different fertilizer companies as well. And then our Nexus BioAg general manager, he also has a tremendous amount of experience in the sustainable area, well over 35 years of sustainability and understanding in this marketplace. And then we also have a very diverse and I would say board of advisors as well as board of directors. And we look at it, 2 key areas, 2 key people that I would pull out is Laura Westby. Laura, who is been with Syngenta, she was involved in a number of different startups, been involved in the agricultural space her entire career on a legal side. I've worked with Laura in the past, and she helps us a tremendous amount when we're dealing with some of these large organizations and on contracts. And the other key one of our directors will be Matt Kowalski. Matt's been involved through his own companies, through many different organizations, and he is now an owner again of a key biological organization in the US. And then getting into our advisors, Dr. Dave Maines, Dr. Mark Hetherington, and Dr. Matthew Mora. These folks have been involved in key extraction processes, key formulation processes, and then also looking at different things that brassica, things like mustards, and how they have an impact on the natural space and what we do. So really, when you look at what we're doing as an organization, we're taking something that has been developed by nature, we're concentrating it, we're extracting it in a usable form, we're moving it to farmers who can then use it through their existing equipment at the same price point as the synthetic versions. So essentially taking what nature's provided us and having a similar solution to what's being done now in some of the synthetic areas. But that's it. Thank you for your time. I'd welcome any questions now.
Well, Colin, first off, I have to say, it's so innovative. Like mustard. We're using mustard. Who'd have thought, not just for the food, but for so much more. So congratulations on that. What a great and very insightful presentation. And I'm sure that there's, a million questions that people could ask as well. And we're all just trying to wrap our head around what? Mustard? But the first one that's come in is biological solutions often face long regulatory timelines. So Colin, how do you accelerate adoption without actually compromising compliance?
Yeah, so I would say, and that's a very good question. So when you look at registrations for agriculture, we are regulated very heavily like pharma. That's something that happens. It's going to come down to the type of product you're trying to register, number one. It's going to look at the area you're trying to register it in. And I would say this is where it becomes very complex. So if you look at something like a biocontrol product like our Terra MG, we've been working on that registration since 2020. It is a very long process. We have to go through all the different checks, balances, everything that way. That's with the EPA, that's with PMRA in Canada, that's with the European Union, that's also with things like Embrapa in Brazil and other areas. So you have to follow those. And we are doing that. We've invested, we spent the money, we're working on that in North America. Bayer's spending that money for us in the EU. So you have those areas. The second part of it, which is a little bit more, I would say, quicker to market, especially when you have a natural product like ours. So ours, like you said, it's mustard. It's food grade. You can eat it. You can take what we have. It's coming from nature. There are certain areas around the world where you do have fast registrations, hence why we do have that registration now in Canada. We're now expanding that. And if you look at the European Union, Netherlands and Germany is a very fast process when it comes to biofertility products. Brazil is quite fast. Australia is very fast. So as an organization, we take what we've learned. We know our product's working, and now we're looking for those key local companies to help us build up the message. And as a farmer, I will never use a new product until I see in very good scale until I see it on my own farm. And that's what we try to do. We try to find the local companies that have those farmer relationships, the grower relationships, and work with them to show them the value. And then over time, you see that ramp up and build up. So it is challenging. It's very frustrating sometimes working with government agencies, but it is a process we have to do, and it's a needed process, to be honest, Lindsay.
Well, that's a very key aspect that you hold that a lot of people don't, is that you have that actual farming background. You had boots on the ground, so you actually know firsthand what it is that farmers are looking for, what they're shying away from, all of that. And that's really key information as you build this out. Now, Colin, the next question is, what proof point convinces large AG distributors that this is not a niche, but a very scalable product?
Yeah, and it takes time. And I would say, I like to explain this in a small way. When I was at Novozymes, I bought many companies. I worked internationally, globally. I looked at roughly over 100 different small organizations to buy. I never believed their data. And that was the point. We never believed their data. You always wanted to internalize it and understand it yourself. And it's whether you're a farmer, whether you're a retail company, or whether you're a large ICAM like a Bayer. What you need to do is prove it to them. We take the mindset as MustGrow where we know our technology works. We know how it works. We know where it works. And what we tried to do is work with these large organizations around the world, large and small, and show them the value on their own farms, in their own areas to provide that. And we believe this is a very large feather in our cap with Bayer. Bayer gave us an upfront payment not roughly 2.5 years ago. We are looking to achieve milestones along the way, and they're investing that significant amount of opportunity for us. They would not have done that if they didn't think our product or didn't see our product working, number one. But number two, if they didn't see that they can make money on it and in their marketplaces, we would not have a deal. So when we look at that, that's where we see our technologies working, where we have to prove it in field, but we also take the mindset that we want people to prove it themselves, and we'll continue to work with them to educate them.
Okay, so you've mentioned Bayer quite a few times. Now, was that a multi-layered deal or was that a one-time payment? Because one of the questions that came in was there was talk of payment from Bayer being done before the end of 2025. is that off the table? So you spoke a lot about what they've already done. Is there more to come?
Yeah, and that's the thing is there was a upfront payment and there are milestone payments along the way. Sometimes those milestone payments get delayed based on whether data's come in at a certain time or not. We fully expect and are hopeful that the rest of the payments will come through. Nothing has shied us away from that. Actually, I'll be heading to Europe here in a couple of weeks to work with them more. And Bayer's been a tremendous partner, learning a lot. And I think the key thing is when we see the data come back, when we see certain things, we continually see efficacy in the field. And sometimes you just have other little questions you need to answer before some of those boxes are checked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if another major chemical player approach with partnership or acquisition interests, what determines whether you build independently or you integrate?
Well, it's going to depend. And as I said, 20% of the company is owned by insiders, shareholders. I put my money where my mouth is. We're here to build shareholder value. So whether that means we build up the organization and continue to de-risk it and then look for a partner or an exit plan then, or if somebody came to us now. So being a public organization, Lindsay, if the offer was sent to us or an offer was sent that was, in our minds worthwhile, we would have to put that out for shareholder vote. So it's really about, when I look at the ag space in my time from when I used to buy companies roughly 10 and a half years ago or 15 years ago to now, there's been a little bit of a change from let's just buy a company and we'll de-risk it ourselves. Large organizations want that company and product to be de-risked before they'll come in with those kind of acquisition and consolidation questions. So that's what we're trying to do. Build up sales, continue to learn more data, get our production to where it needs to be, start making profit, and then you may see or potentially see some of those consolidation acquisition questions come in.
Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but tell us what's your website and what's your ticker? Where can we find you?
Yeah, the website is www.mustgrow.ca. The ticker, as I said, in the TSXV is MGRO. On the OTCQB, it's MGROF, and in the Frankfurt Exchange, it's OCO.
Okay, perfect. Well, such a great conversation, a great presentation, and I absolutely love hearing all about what you're doing over there. So keep it up, and we look forward to having you back.
Great. Thanks, Lindsay. Have a great day.
You too.